This episode of the Cartoon Palooza is brought to you by Clayton, who for $1 per month is able to get a special privilege and suggested this month's theme, which is Saturday morning cartoon movies. If you'd like to know more and find out ways that you can get a special privilege, all you gotta do is go to my Patreon page and donate $1 per month, or at least just find out more information and let somebody else know who might be interested as well. Link is in the description box below. I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P, and you're watching the Cartoon Palooza. This month is all about movies based on Saturday morning cartoons. Now let me tell you, who would you think make millions off of speeding somebody's voice up and then pulling it off as a separate character?
Hey, it's Ray! Oh my god, there's a star!
Nope, we ain't talking about that. We're talking about Alvin and the Chipmunks. Created by Rodent-based, Armenian name, the Chipmunks have managed to stay popular over the decades through animation and licensed music. Now before the recent movies, and even after they were first created, I feel like they hit their peak in the 80s with their animated TV series. It was an entertaining show that featured adventure, music, and good animation while introducing us to universal things we associate to the Chipmunks, such as the Chipettes. It was after this series that we got our first feature film based on the TV series, The Chipmunk Adventure. Our movie takes Alvin and his brothers Simon and Theodore on an adventure around the world trying to win a race against their part-time friends and rivals, the Chipettes. I love how in the first 5 minutes we're not just introduced to our favorite characters, but getting to know what's going on story-wise. We see Simon being a smartass, Theodore being thoughtful and hungry, and then cap it off with Alvin trying to take the spotlight away from Dave. The irony is that all these characters we really don't know much about personality-wise are the Chipettes, who personally I always assumed were just the female proxies of the Chipmunks. And yeah, that's basically what they are. I'd argue the only one that has the most personality is Brittany, but then again, it's only Alvin's personality on the body of a girl chipmunk. We also get characters I'd never imagined enjoying like Miss Miller, the fabulously dressed villains Claudia and Klaus, and even the side characters like the character chasing the chipmunks. In the film, Claudia and Klaus talk about another man hunting them down named Jamal. He has henchmen searching for the chipmunks, and they're a lot of fun because they rely less on dialogue and more on pantomime. However, without spoiling the ending, we learned something about this character that, well, first time seeing, I didn't see coming. For a movie that could have taken the cheap route and just settled with stereotypes and cliches, for all their characters, they went out of their way to make good characters. I know that. They've been doing it for the last 10 years. I will say it brings to question something that could have been avoided altogether, but I don't want to spoil it. Now, if I had to say there was one problem this movie had, it had to be the plot. We're supposed to believe that these crooks want to smuggle diamonds in a covert, secret, unknowing way. So let's get the Chipmunks and Chipettes to travel in large, gaudy hot air balloons around the world. Yeah, nobody will suspect that. Let's not forget the Chipmunks are the only anthropomorphic animals in the world. The villains even have a dog who doesn't talk, who only makes the goofy Pluto world connection even more confusing. But on top of this, the Chipmunks are already loaded. They're superstars. They're globe-trotting anyways. If you didn't think that was confusing enough, they're trading up dolls of themselves filled with cash and diamonds. Are you sure this was the best way to smuggle priceless diamonds around the world? Now when I was 7, they re-released this movie in the 90s, and I actually thought that this was a new film. That's how well preserved this movie was, despite being on VHS. I thought it was something that was in theaters just recently and then happened to just be on video. When it comes to the animation, the expressions are where it excels. At the very least, humans are animated in a way that's cartoony while not off-putting when compared to the Chipmunks. They seem to blend the two types of characters perfectly. Sometimes the faces can seem like they're melting like putty, but other times the expressions are captured perfectly. Even when they're not made to look realistic, knowing how the characters look in a situation or mood are important to allowing the viewer to understand their feelings. In this regard, the movie does it in a way that's very believable. Who can we thank for this? Disney. Specifically, The Black Cauldron. No, I'm serious. Disney had to cut off a ton of animators working on The Black Cauldron because it was a flop. They ended up working on this film. One of the guys responsible for the animation in the film was Glenn Keane, who in the field of animation is a pretty big name. He's responsible for supervising the animation for Ariel in The Little Mermaid, and today he's currently working on VR technology. Unlike Transformers the movie, where its formulaic plot and weak motivations trump the great animation and effects, the Chipmunk Adventure gives you fun characters and animation. While the plot is silly, as a story with pacing and staying invested, it doesn't feel too rushed or slowed down. It gives you what you would expect from an Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. A story followed with occasional musical numbers or sped up songs that got the license, and then occasionally original songs. I like how every once in a while you get an action scene to break off between the musical numbers. In fact, there's a lot more action than there are musical numbers in the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. So saying this is a movie with a musical might be pushing it, rather than an animated adventure with the occasional song or two. That pretty much is all I gotta say about the Chipmunk Adventure. It's a good movie, it's a lot of fun. However, I don't think it's enough to say that it's merely okay. I do recommend checking this out, for the animation alone, especially for fans of Alvin and the Chipmunks. I will say qualities from this movie are what people who like the Chipmunks TV series enjoy out of these characters. Seeing silly stories supported by fun characters with personality and good animation. Therefore, I say this movie's worth it. So let me know in the comments section below, what did you think about the Chipmunk Adventure? Also, if you liked this video, feel free to subscribe. I'm Joey.T.Cartoon.P and thanks for watching this review on the Cartoon Palooza.